All right, webinar is now broadcasting to all attendees. I got my coffee.
Me too.
I got my coffee. I got one of my guys, one of my squad on here, and I'm so excited. If you clicked on this, you know who I am. But in case somehow you stumbled on this, I am Kirk M. Samuels, the Intimacy Incubator. I co-create worlds of intimacy and unconditional connection. And one of the ways I'm doing that here this morning is by bringing you one of my guys, I'm talking squad, I'm talking home team. You know what, man, when I woke up this morning, this is one of those mornings where I got up, I did some push-ups, man. I rolled out of bed. I was like, I know who I got on today, man. I'm doing some push-ups, man. I'm doing some planks. I got my guy. Let me introduce the world, in case a few of you that don't know him, to my man, the man, Mr. Brett Zachman. How you doing, sir?
Good to see you, Kirk. I have to confess I didn't do a plank or a push-up, so
Yeah, that's all right, man. But I mean, I got to get my game up. I got to raise my game up when I get on those people, man. And so that's why I had to do that, man. So, man, it is a great – first of all, let's get out of the way, because at some point here I'm going to stumble into, you know, where I'm from. You got your government name and then you got your street name.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it is. And so, and I normally default to the street name, to the hood name. So before I even stumble people up, let's get to the point of, everybody doesn't necessarily call you Brett. What do people call you?
So it's a cute nickname story. So my full name is Brett Zachman. So Zachman, very German surname. Not a single teacher ever pronounced that right. So they always called me Zachman. Now later I start playing football. My uncle teaches me how to be the quarterback. So if you've ever hung around football jocks, Zachman, no way, that's 2 syllables. So they just shortened it to Zach. But for the purposes of what we're on this morning to talk about, fast forward about 30 years, and I start building this nonprofit called Be Men, for men, bringing guys like you and I back together again. And one of my brothers, Christian brothers, says, "Hey, Zach." And then he's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I don't even know why I called you that." I'm like, "No, that's totally cool. That was my nickname on a football field in high school and college." And so, of course, you know, nicknames obviously are short for other names. So Zach is short for Zachary, which is short for Zechariah, the chapter in the Bible. So curiosity killed the cat. I look it up. I'm like, well, I wonder what it means. So Zach means clean, pure, or innocent. And Zechariah means in remembrance of God.
Wow, man, that's pretty dope, man. I'm digging that.
That's a little deep for 6 a.m., huh?
Hey, man, let me get another sip of coffee on that one.
Yeah, me too, right? But honestly, it rippled, you know. Energetically, we're energetic spiritual beings, and I thought, you know what? Dang, I'm gonna start using my nickname again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Especially one syllable, like Kirk. You know, actually, I found out that Kirk actually is Scottish from the church.
No kidding.
You know, it's Scottish. If you trace the roots of the word Kirk is actually ecclesia, or like Ecclesiastes.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how that is, man. But so yeah, all of a sudden we got on like a whole name thing here. Yeah,
there you go.
Where are you from, man? Where did you grow up?
I'm a native of Denver, Colorado. I traveled around in my 20s to other metropolises, but never found a place I'd rather live. So,
wow, born and raised, huh?
Yeah, West Side kid. Yeah, Lakewood, the Green Mountain. West Side.
Nice. That was good stuff, man. Born and raised. There's not a whole lot of you around here. Actually, there are now. So here's the really quick detour here. Here's the thing, though. Being born and raised in Colorado, does that mean you're an avid hardcore skier?
You know what? Here's what's interesting. Since I played football and I played basketball, it seemed like there was 2 camps. There was the kids that, you know, they were huge skiers, so they got all their gear, bought all their passes, went up all the time. And man, coaches, when I was in high school, they're like, "Don't you dare go blow out your knee, young man." And so I'm the once or twice a year just go up to enjoy the snow, not get too damn cold. I usually am a spring skier, not a dead of winter, -20 below skier.
Yeah, I hear you now. What is the funny thing is I say that because having been here, this is my 20th year here
Oh, nice.
in Colorado, and having been here, it's funny because a lot of natives aren't the hardcore avid skiers. And so it's kind of funny the way that works. And yeah, I mean, to your point, you either have the one or two camps. The one camp that yeah, they just kind of grew up on the slopes and it is what it is. But then you have a lot that aren't like the
Yeah.
in 15, 20 times a year kind of folks. It's normally a lot of the people that moved here a long time ago that are the hardcore skiers.
That's right. It's kind of like living by the ocean, and you're like, hey, Kirk, you go to the ocean every day, don't you? And you're like, the ocean's right down the street. Why the hell would I do that?
Right. Yeah. It's growing up in D.C. Most people think you hang out down by the monument in the Capitol or the White House, and it just doesn't happen at all. So right on, man. So you mentioned it. A minute ago. What is and that T-shirt you got on? You're representing there. What is B-Men?
Yeah. Man, this is great. So about 15 years ago, I go through separation and divorce. In fact, I'm an overachiever in all things. So I changed my living space, changed my marriage, changed my career simultaneously. So kind of a psychological experiment to see if Zach loses his mind. Thankfully I didn't, but I had no idea what I was stepping into. I was just taking it in the moment. And then I watched 7 of my closest male friends, my inner sphere of guy buddies like you and I go through it too. And I started thinking, well, wait a second. Where do men go when the crap hits the fan? Like adult men. And, we grew up in groups. I don't know about you. I was always in groups from the age of like 6 to 22. But somewhere in our millennial years, it shifts. And all of a sudden, we're sort of like lone wolves, islands in a hurricane. I'm proving to you and myself and everybody else what a man I am, which is okay until the crap hits the fan and, the music stops playing and there's not enough chairs in the room. So B-Men is the idea of building a container. Men go through struggles all the time, at any age, any decade. And so it's bringing guys back together again, bringing them together and building this container of like-minded, extraordinary men, hell-bent, honestly, on rearranging this society's synapses about what it means to be a man. You may have noticed, especially here in America today, a lot of negativity about men, a lot of negativity about masculinity. And so this is the idea of, hey, we are quality individuals. And B-Men is actually an acronym. So we refer to it as the Brotherhood of Extraordinary Men.
Now that being said, is B-Men, is it exclusive to men? I mean, or are women involved?
Yeah. Good question. So here's what's really intriguing. I can't make this stuff up, There's kind of 3 layers in the organization. We've got our public-facing website. Anybody can click into that. Then we've got an open group Facebook community. And here's what I find intriguing. We've got about 350 plus men in there, and we've got over 100 women. I was giving a presentation years ago at the state level and finished up, and a gal walked right up to me and she's like, Zach, that was great. Don't make it a secret. And I was totally disconnected. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, your society. And then it clicked, right? Oh, you mean like Mason? I said, well, why? Why do you ask me to do that? She said, well, look, if my girlfriend and I are at the water cooler tomorrow and your organization comes up, B-Men, and we go, oh, yeah, those whole bunch of he-man, woman-hating, chauvinistic pigs. I'm like, whoa, time out on the football field. Did you hear what I was talking about? Be honest, be sincere, be trustworthy. So that's not what we're about at all. And she said, well, if you make it a secret, women can assume whatever they want about your organization. So we open up that middle layer to women. There's women that know men that you and I don't know, and they should be a part of this movement. Now, then, of course, we still have the man cave, right? The inner sphere where we'll go do all men's events or all men talks or give back to society, where it's just you and I and a bunch of our brothers, and we need to connect and talk like men and not have any women around to listen to what we have to say.
Man, that's awesome, man. And you know, this particular Uplift Him call being kind of targeted towards you know, towards guys, if you will. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Me opening up, doing Uplift Her, you know, for the women's side, and neither one are exclusive. The topics are generally, you know, the topics are generally geared towards men or towards women, or at least the discussion is. And so, yeah,
Nice.
I kind of get that too, where you know, I'll speak somewhere and you know, when I'm done, there's a line of women. Even though I'm talking about, you know, freedom from pornography, there's a line of women that are like, "Oh my goodness, you know, this is amazing that you know that a guy's actually talking about this." And yeah, to your point, you know, women know men, and so yeah, I love that you have that. That you have that kind of open dialogue where it's not a secret, because quite honestly, strong men are good for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
having a community of strong men and whole men and healthy men are good for women in terms of the population. So I love that, man. That's pretty dynamic of you, man, to be so overthinking like that. And a minute ago you mentioned, first of all, you said uh, you just said two words like the synapses of society or whatever. I'm still going to rob that man at any point.
You like that one?
I love that one, dude. I love that one. But a couple minutes ago, you mentioned changing careers when your life changes. So what's your career now?
Mm. Yeah, great question. You can't make this stuff up. So 8 years ago, I lose quite a bit. I lose my first company that I launched in 2003 based on the 2008 crash. I lose a second company in green technology based on a business divorce, kind of stuff that you only thought could happen in movies. And so here I am, I'm almost 40 years old and I'm completely broke, and not a little bit broke. I mean, like I lost all my money, somebody else's money. I'm gonna go through personal divorce, personal bankruptcy, business bankruptcy, short sell my dream home, go back and move in with my parents at the ripe age of 40. So of course, you know, for a man, oh my God, you might as well just like cut my heart out and burn it right there on the sidewalk. I was so humiliated. So I'm at my grandmother's funeral and I'm speaking. I'm the oldest grandchild. I'm just telling a story about her wonderful life, you know, and ping pong tournaments in the basement, croquet on the back lawn, going to the country club to swim in the summers. And I meet the CEO of a company, Five Rings Financial. I actually don't know him from Adam. He just listens to me speak. He knows my uncle. And 2 weeks later, I'm in his office and he says, "Young man, you should come on board and be my apprentice." Now, here's what I'm thinking. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my whole life. You know, I mean, if you had met me any other year of my 40 years on this planet, fantastic idea. But not right now. Not a single soul is going to listen to me. I mean, I'm a train wreck. And he said, "I know how you feel." And I'm thinking, "No, you don't. You're a multimillionaire." He's like, "Yes. When I was a young man at 26, I was completely broke and I had lost all my money." And so he invited me to be his apprentice and teach. So our whole goal with Five Rings is to bring financial literacy to the middle class. You know, the stuff that you and I should have been taught in the 12 to 16 years when we were in school, and somehow it just escaped them. You know, middle school, high school, college, we just didn't get it. And so I've worked as his apprentice for 2 years, and for the last 6 years, I've moved my way up through the ranks and become a senior vice president. Give workshops a couple times a month. And I'm telling you what, it's I love it. It's a passion to help people create financial freedom.
Man, that's awesome. I was actually I came to one of your workshops. I think it was last month. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, the cool part is you fed us.
There is that, you know, and us men, we got to eat, you know.
Yeah, it was at I think it was at Mimi's Cafe or whatever. But yeah, you fed everybody. Well, you fed us in body, but then you fed us in mind as well, because you gave an excellent presentation about money, man, and about finances and that sort of thing. And then you know, the strange part was, strange in not a bad way, but the strange part was when we were done, you didn't like try to do the, you know, the full armbar sales pitch to everybody, man. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, really, you just gonna educate me and feed me? Okay. So that was just that was just a very cool part of the workshop. Highly, recommended to anyone for sure, man. So now, so let's turn the corner here a little bit. Speaking to men specifically, why should men care about finances? Why should they care about money?
Oh, great question. And it's interesting that there's that old cliche that you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Ooh, yeah, you lose it all. You think money's not important, go lose it all, and then check yourself in the mirror. We joke about a quote from Zig Ziglar that says something to the effect of this: money's not that important, but it ranks right up there next to oxygen on the gotta have it list. So this is really intriguing to me because I've done a lot of study now over the last 7 or 8 years. The wealthy or the rich think about money in very different ways than, say, middle class or lower income. They think of it as a tool, as a resource. They're not scared of it. They don't have psychological baggage around it. Their synapses are clear on it. It's powerful. It's a resource. Love to have it. Love to have more of it. If I get more of it, I can use it. I can use it to protect myself. I can use it to protect my family. I can use it to be philanthropic and do great things in the community and society. But unfortunately, kind of through generational modeling, since we're not learning about money in the school system, we're just kind of picking up money in the home. And the other thing that I think is intriguing, and you know this because you're unpacking a lot of these taboo subjects, which is why I'm so glad to be with you this morning. Where in the world did we decide that like sex, religion, politics, and money are taboo subjects? I mean, this is some of the most, I'm 47 and I'm thinking, what the hell else do we got to talk about directly or indirectly that doesn't involve one or all four of those? And so this idea of let's just not talk about money, that's a really bad plan, I think. If what you focus on grows. So if you can learn to focus positively on money and think through, and of course the system in America is not really set up in our favor. In case people are not paying attention, banks, Wall Street, major corporations, they're not running around thinking or going to bed every night going, I wonder how we help Kirk Samuels out. That's our main goal tomorrow when we go to work. No, they're in business for themselves. So we got to read the rule books. We got to study. We got to become empowered ourselves about our money.
Wow. So you're telling me that money is not the root of all evil?
Oh, I love it. So from one Christian brother to another, cause the angst, right? The self-righteous anger that rises up out of your bloodstream on that one. So we forget money is the root of all evil, but the 3 key words in that scripture are the love of. And if you take those 3 words out, you completely shift the context. He never meant that money is the root of all evil. He meant the love of, the idolatry. In fact, if you go a little, and you would know better than I if it's forward or back in the scriptures, but go to the parable of the talents. And if you remember the parable of the talents, and the one did this and reinvested it and tripled it, and the one did this and saved up a little bit more, and then the one was super scared and buried it in the backyard. And what did he say to the one who was scared and buried it in the backyard? "O ye wicked servant, get out of my sight." And here in America, how do men or any of us feel about money? Oh my God, there's scarcity, fear, doubt, bad business ethics. I mean, we're just waiting for the shoe to fall, right? When is somebody going to blow my left leg off regarding my money? Me or somebody else or divorce, right?
Wow. And so when when we think about money, when you sit down and kind of help people unpack their finances and that sort of thing, do you find that people and again, since this is a him call, you find that guys specifically, but I guess people in general are kind of hesitant to really dig into their finances?
Absolutely. I mean, if you think through, okay, I already knew money was sensitive, but I had no idea until I started doing this work over the last 8 years how much psychological baggage people hold on to. I mean, I joke in our office that we're part-time financial coaches, part-time family therapists, because you start talking about money and within 5, 10, 15 minutes, you're talking about all other sorts of sensitive topics: divorces, kids, step-parents, this, that, the illnesses, all sorts of things that could come up. And people hang on to this stuff. I mean, they could be our age in our 40s or 50s or 60s, and they start telling me a story about mom and dad and the kitchen table. And I start thinking to myself, now, wait a second. That's a story that's 50 years old. And this person is telling this story as if it happened 5 days ago. And so we really do hold on to this kind of stuff. And so when we start walking people through, first of all, to your point, we go by the give approach. Give the workshop, give the information, give the free meal, don't ask for anything in return, only work with volunteers. Second thing is process. So thinking about the money industry in America, they have a black eye for a well-deserved reason. Many corporations and institutions have built bad products, pre-internet, pre-Googles, pre-smartphone. Many agencies are still training their sales forces on a transaction-based model, right? Where I have to move you, Kirk, into a sale here this morning in 30 minutes. In fact, based on that beautiful photo of your family behind you, if I can count, I think I need about 5 sales, right? You and your 4 children. Get that done as fast as humanly possible, because my regional manager is breathing down my neck and I got a quota this month and we're already halfway through the month. That's not helping people. That's helping, commissions be put into other people's pockets. Ours is step 1, education. Get yourself educated. Step 2, discovery. Figure out where you are. Like, be really honest with yourself when we sit down and ask you a bunch of questions about your financial state of the union. And then step 3 is let's address the pain spots. It's really hard in America to get all the way through your life and not have a few hiccups financially. But that doesn't mean you're a bad person. That just means you're a human being who lives in the United States of America, and money is a tough deal. And then let's come up with some solutions that move you kind of forward progress towards some financial freedom.
Man, that's pretty deep. So if you sit down with someone and you help them, go through their finances, and you help them within their finances find, say, $150 a month, and they're able to make that productive for them for 30 years, what difference can that make in their life?
Oh my God. So this is breaking down, I call it the urban legend, the myth, right? Because we've all heard this. Well, the mantra with money, Kirk, is you got to have money to make money. And actually, 2018 is supersized me, right? Everything's supersized. I mean, that coffee mug of yours ought to be about 60 ounces, not 12 or 16. Well, that's just an urban legend, folks. Small amounts of money over a prolonged period of time at decent interest rate. So I love that you said 150 a month, because we pick on Starbucks, or any coffee shop, and say if you could save $5 a day, which would be 150 a month, which would be $1,800 per year. And if you could do that for 30 or 40 years and get a decent interest rate, now I'm not talking crazy interest rates like back in the 90s. I mean, if we could just do like 7, 8, maybe as much as 10% over the long haul, you can potentially add $1 million to your net worth by your 65th birthday.
Wow, man, that is phenomenal, dude. That is super phenomenal. Now, I mean, we're kind of coming in for a landing here, but I do want, in terms of time, this ain't the last time we're gonna talk, man. We can go so many different directions with this conversation, but from a guy perspective, though, and this is where I really want to land. From a guy perspective, how important is it for him to consider the impact to his finances when he goes through something like a divorce? And I know I just gave you probably a 20-minute question and like a 3-minute answer, but I
appreciate that really soft, gentle, baby-like landing. That was
yeah. I mean, that's like baseball, man, because there's no way in a but well, I guess my point is if there's something that a guy needs to get fixed in his relationship, I mean it could be significant to him in some very tangible ways. And so what impact could that have, again, super quick, and what impact could that have to him in terms of his finances when or if he goes through a divorce?
Yeah. I think of a couple of things. You know, in my marriage, money was never an issue until money was an issue. One or the other of us didn't have that well-paying job, or things went south. All of a sudden, we were fighting like cats and dogs about money. And with men, here's what I think we've been led to believe, another urban legend. Your identity as a man is how fat is your wallet. Now that's a gotcha, fellas, that we got to get ourselves around mentally, because bad things happen to good people all the time. What if there's a downsizing at the office and you get the pink slip, or there's a merger acquisition, or the entrepreneurial effort fails? So if your wallet isn't very fat, are you still a man? Of course you are. You have worth no matter how much money you're making, whether you're a millionaire or you made $10. So now with divorce, you know, the average divorce I've heard could cost as much as $50,000. I mean, that could be an annual salary for many people. So the idea is, okay, we're getting ready for this transition. You can see it coming, or it's going to happen, whether you want it to happen or not. Now what you need to do is you need to start thinking clearly. So not with your emotions. And that might take getting somebody like Kirk or myself or some professionals around you to provide an objective perspective, not a subjective perspective, because you're going to need this to make quality decisions with your money that are not based on emotion, just based on the facts. And the facts might need to be, hey, how do I protect myself? How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of our children if there's children involved? Because once you take a singular household and make it a dual household, a split family, you know, you need to be able to provide for yourself, and you're going to need to be able to support your children, most likely with child support, or, you know, 50% of the time, or however much time they're around you. You know, just because the marriage didn't work doesn't mean we have to fracture the family completely. And finances, again, remember, it's a tool and it's a resource to be for good.
Man, that is that is phenomenal. So, I mean, in a one-word answer, would you say that it would be beneficial for a guy to get his stuff together, to get his proverbial poop in a group, relationally, in terms of the impact to his finances in his family?
Absolutely. You know, I think I like to say this many times, that I've been married once, but I'm still looking for a life partner.
Yeah.
So when you are in partnership, that includes all aspects of your life. So you and your spouse really need to come together around money. And of course, we teach that they're spenders and they're savers. And so you can have different ideas about money, but you really want to get on the same page. And you might even need to have some really deep dive conversations with each other. You might need to take a hard look in the mirror about yourself and your money. And you might need to go get some professionals involved. That might be, you know, therapy or counseling, like a marriage therapist. But that also might be coming and sitting down with someone like myself, you know, a financial coach or a planner, to really work through both sides. You know, work through the fact side, but also work through the emotion side, because you and your spouse may not look at money the same way, and that's okay. You just need to have good, clear communication around that, so that money doesn't become the excuse or the reason to not continue in life together.
Yeah, and that, you know, and again, I mean, the reason I'm bringing some of these topics up kind of to the surface is because, you know, I mean, you know, the family impacts are important in our culture and our society, and I mean, that's the reason. I mean, you know, here my next class is coming up next month on the 13th. And so to address these issues within the family, and you mentioned getting people around you, getting support, so that ideally you don't have to go through what you and I have gone through in terms of a dissolution of a marriage to affect us financially and all those kinds of things. And so yeah, I mean, that's absolutely it. Hey, I want to make sure that we leave here with people being able to get a hold of you if they want to. So how can people get a hold of you?
Awesome. There's two ways. So on the financial side, Zach at 5ringsfinancial.com is a great email for me. 5, the number spelled out, rings, plural. And then on the B-Men side, in terms of what we're building with the Brotherhood, Zach at bemen.org.
Absolutely, man. Hey, you know, we got to do this again, man. I mean, that 30 minutes goes by like
I know, holy cow.
And so, yeah, we gotta schedule this, and we can go deeper in so many different levels, man. I mean, you and I, we just vibe like that anyway. And so, man, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your mentorship, everything you do for guys and for the community and for families. I mean, you just, man, you're the package, man. You're the full deal. Big, tall, strapping, good-looking guy. You're smart, charismatic, man. You're a good speaker, good presenter, all that kind of stuff, man. So I appreciate you. I like to leave these calls with just a word of encouragement for guys, and just my word of encouragement today is that you were created for greatness. And greatness and freedom have to go hand in hand. So being free in every part of your life is essential, man. You were created to be free. So if you're not free, let's get free. Let's sit down with whomever. Let's help you get to the point of feeling free and feeling just flat out awesome. And one day you might be up to the point where you're at the level of Zach. So anyhow, man, I appreciate you, my brother. We gotta, we'll schedule some sit down time, and we'll keep changing the world, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship, and thanks a lot for sitting with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you, my brother from another mother. You encouraged me.
Absolutely, man. You take care, man, and we'll be in touch soon.
All right. You have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.